Petty revenge over a public indecency call. To start, I want to say that thankfully I work for a department that services a very nice suburban area in my metro area, so most of my calls are minor complaints and disputes, with our most exciting calls being a moderately heated domestic. This means that most calls are Karens complaining about their neighbors. This call was about 4 years ago, and honestly, when told that the complaint was my neighbors are very visibly having sex and it's making me uncomfortable, my thoughts were, oh, this is going to be a spicy one and quat. Upon responding to the complaint, Karen points to the house beside hers and no shit, you can clearly see the silhouette of the couple through their blinds because the room light had them backlit. Personally, I believe it was probably a stage light to provide even lighting for firming, but I have no proof of this. But there are two problems. Our public indecency laws specifically states that it has to be done knowing and to cause alarm, as well as it has to be the exposure of genitalia in public, which technically this doesn't meet. Yeah, I know. If it really came down to it, we probably could have charged the couple with something, but truth be told, we can charge a ham sandwich with something and a half-assed decent Ada could make stick. Anyways, to please Karen and to help serve the community, I decided to make contact with the neighbors. I knock on the door and to be expected, I have to wait a handful of minutes. I explained to the nice gentleman that opened the door what the issue was, and while myself and my boss back at the station agree they weren't breaking any laws, they might want to rethink their lighting and or blind situation, just to keep the peace. The gentleman thanked me, and then caught me with a curveball, asking me what the city's noise ordinance hour were. To be fair, very easy question. Quiet hours are 10 p.m. to 8 a.m. Monday to Friday, and midnight 8 a.m. on weekends and select holidays. The gentleman responded with, thank you. So hypothetically speaking, it would not be a noise violation to mow my yard at 11:30 at night, as long as my mower is off by midnight, correct? And quat. Great, a rabble-rouser looking for legal advice. But then he tosses in, only asking because I was mowing at 8:30 a couple nights ago after it cooled down a touch and Karen came over spitting venom about how she knew the law and was going to get me trouble etc and quat. So, I informed him that while I cannot give legal advice, and I also don't know if the bylaws of the HOA had any additional stipulations, my opinion strictly mine, might not be shared by others in the department or the DA's office, yada yada, but yes, it was my personal understanding that he could mow his lawn at 11:30 at night on the weekends and 9:30 during the week. Guess who had the best maintained lawn on that block, and who also began using their air compressor for projects up until minutes before quiet hours? If you guessed, this gentleman, you'd be correct. For the first week after that encounter, our department got 7 to 8 calls a night. At least she had the decency to use the non-emergency number. But after having everyone, including the chief, telling her to pound sand and not to call us unless it was quiet hours, the calls eventually stopped. When I was bored, I'd drive by on patrol able 10 to 15 minutes before quiet hours, and all spring, summer and fall he would be out there using his noisy equipment, and even in the winter he would be in the garage working on some type of carpentry project. That went on for 3 years until Karen was finally put into a home and the house was sold. TLDR, Karen complained that she could see neighbors enjoying each other via their shadows on the blinds, sparked psychological warfare campaign from neighbor.